No matter if points are gained or points are lost, there will be much to discuss. For analysis regarding tonight's Winnipeg Jets game, here are Dave Manouk, Ezra Ginsburg, and your host, Drew Mindell. The Illegal Curve post-game show starts now.
A victory on the ice, and apparently the team isn't leaving off the ice. So all in all, I would say a very good day for the Winnipeg Jets. Good evening, Winnipeg. Good evening, Manitoba. And for all those joining us live this evening on our YouTube channel and all of our social media platforms, we welcome you to the Illegal Curve post-game show. He's DM Dave Manouk. I'm DM Drew Mindell. We're here to discuss the Winnipeg Jets. 4-2 victors over the St. Louis Blues. With the win, they improve to an utterly remarkable 16-3-1 against their Central Division opponents. That means 4 wins in a row for the Jets, 7 of their past 8. They are on a heater, and the doldrums of the post-All-Star break are certainly flushed and gone as the Winnipeg Jets are back atop the Western Conference, at the very least, via points percentage. Dave M., good to see you tonight. How are things in your land? Welcome back to Winnipeg. We hope you had a nice little time away.
I did indeed. Lise is asking who the 3 stars were. I should know. I won't tell you why I know. Wink, wink. They were Brossoit, Morrissey, and Brendan Dillon. So
there you go.
There's your 3 stars of the game, Lise, and for anyone else who was concerned as to who those 3 stars were. But that is the in that order, I should say. I'm doing well. Had a nice little holiday.
You distracted yourself there with
I did. I wasn't going to go 3 stars, but then Lisa asked the question, so I wanted to let her know.
Fair enough.
I had a nice little break. It was quite the switch. I understand it was nice weather here in Winnipeg while I was away, but then I had a nice little, significant 50-degree switch from plus 25 to minus 25. But hey, we live in Winnipeg. We got to deal with it. And there was a lot to discuss that kept you warm. People were worried because there was it's supposed to be a fireside chat with the commissioner, Gary Bettman. Of course, the folks know in Winnipeg, the only place you have a fireside chat is here on the Illegal Curve post-game show with Dave M., Drew Mindell, and Ezzy Ginsburg. So ultimately, that was folks like that. There were all 500 season ticket holders who took that in. We have a lot to talk about, Drew, like I said, because there were, of course, the media availabilities with the commissioner, the deputy commissioner, Mark Chipman. And of course, there was a hockey game to discuss. So lots to talk about. And this Jets team, this was another impressive effort by Laurent Brossoit. I thought he was really good. I mean, obviously the second goal, which we'll get into during the game recap, I wouldn't blame on him because he had just made a fantastic save, which I was in the process of tweeting before Nate Schmidt decided to, and not only on Nate Schmidt, because the rest of the Jets were kind of standing around looking like what's going on right now after Brossoit made the save. But I thought he was excellent in the game, and I thought a lot of guys were. I thought Josh Morrissey had another strong game. So, sorry, I just wanted to say, Drew, you're playing against the St. Louis team that's desperate, right? Because unlike the Arizona Coyotes, who are done, St. Louis isn't done. The St. Louis was only 4 points back, with games in hand of Nashville. Nashville, by the way, a team that doesn't look like they're slowing down any, because they were up over, I know they're playing Ottawa, but they were up when I last checked.
4-1 the Predators beat the Senators tonight,
which I believe gives them 6 wins in a row or something like that. So they're again, I don't think they're charging for any of the 3 spots. We know Colorado and Dallas are playing tonight, and they're doing battle. I think Colorado was up 2-1 last I checked in that one. But going into the second period, which again, right now, as it stands, the Jets
it's now 4-1 Colorado.
Okay, well, it looks like then the Jets will end the evening as first place team in the Central based on points percentage.
Yeah.
But it was an important game because this is a team. There's a lot going on off the ice, and I think that a lot of the noise was put to rest today. Not all of it, but I think a lot of it may quieted down. We may return to some normality coming up soon, but I think there were a lot of questions that were wanting to be answered. And again, we have the availabilities with Gary Bettman available on our YouTube channel and Bill Daly. But again, like I said, Drew, there's so many places to start. And Obviously, David Gustafson returned to the Jets from the morning skate, and we saw that he was recalled from his conditioning assignment with the Moose. Cole Perfetti back on the right side. I mean, there's a lot of storylines to discuss. Alex Iafallo coming into today's game, 21 games without a goal. So wherever you're the host, you can start wherever you want to start. But there's just so much to talk about.
Rambling incoherently. Let me get a word in edgewise. He's away from a microphone for a week, and all of a sudden he needs to make up for lost time. Is clearly what's happening there. But we will start with the Jets game and the on ice performance, and then like we always do, we will deal with the off ice stuff probably after the commercial break on tonight's Illegal Curve post game show. But to me, the Winnipeg Jets, like you said, Dave, look, you got the St. Louis Blues, a team that is not as good as the Winnipeg Jets, and that's just being frank. You can see where they are in the standings. You know where the Jets are in the standings. And yes, St. Louis is a desperate team, and they need to, scratch and claw their way, to a wild card spot. To me, what was most impressive about the Jets' victory tonight, and this isn't something that we saw on Friday in Chicago or on Sunday against Arizona, is how the Jets responded to a poor second period. Because that's what it was in this game. The Jets had a great first period, much like they on Sunday against Arizona. The second period tonight, not great, not anything you want to write home about. St. Louis cuts it down to a 3-2 lead. And then you remember on Sunday against the Coyotes, the Jets had that 3-2 lead, and Arizona scored early in that third period to tie the game. So I was really keeping a close eye, on that third period. How were the Jets going to respond to the second? How were the Jets going to react in another sort of tight game where they're playing against a lesser rival? Are they going to let that other team back into the game and then have to win it in overtime like we saw Friday, Sunday? Or are they going to maybe affirm the victory in regulation time? And I was impressed by the Jets in that third period in that they did affirm the victory. They obviously get the insurance marker, and we'll talk about that in the Betway game recap. But for me, it was more just the way they played that third period. I thought that they were relatively in control for a lot of that third period. I mean, St. Louis had some opportunities because there was, a stretch of 4-on-4 hockey, and there was a stretch where, the Jets got into some penalty trouble. Of course, Mason Appleton took that roughing penalty, and I mean, the Neil Pionk high stick doesn't really matter in this case because that happened so late in the game. But to me, that was the most impressive part from the Jets' perspective, is that they sort of affirmed that victory with the performance in the third period, Dave.
Yeah, for sure. And I was going to laugh, Drew, because I was like, that high sticking penalty was a bit of a phantom call. I mean, it was definitely, I shouldn't say that. It was definitely a high stick, but Shen looked like he had been shot. So, I mean, it was quite a bit of an exaggeration by him. Yeah, you wanted to see a bounce back because they definitely saw a Blues team that was hungry in that second period, who felt like they could get back into it. I thought Joel Hofer, who of course is from Winnipeg, he was, I almost wanted to give him a start.
Former guest on our show. Wasn't he on our show once years ago? Did I make that up? I think Joel Hofer was on the show once years and years ago. Like when he was in juniors still.
Okay, maybe that sounds kind of familiar. That I mean, if you wanted to look that up, you could. But he played really well and kept his team in the game. And then, like I said, the Laurent Brossoit was excellent in that second period as well, only giving up the one goal. So I agree with you, Drew. That third period was important. And one of the talking points today in the media availability with head coach Rick Bowness, which of course you can watch on our YouTube channel, not during our show, is that the comfort in playing 1-goal games. I believe St. Louis
played a ton this year. They have a great record in 1-goal games.
I'm pretty sure, like Kelly Moore was telling me earlier, that they've got the most in 1-goal games. So, and we'll be hearing from Rick Bowness, speaking of, fairly shortly, but from the Matt Frost Media Center. But Drew, I think that was the key, was you wanted to see a strong third period, and that's what we did from the Jets. And they closed it out, and they continued to have that dominance, which you outlined in the first minute of the show against the Central. And we talk about it. That's how important is it? We talk about how important it is for this Jets team to finish first place.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you need to do. You need to eat the competition in the division, and that's what they're doing right now. And so it's been an impressive effort. And again, like I said, this is a St. Louis team that while they've, fallen of late, they're still a team that was within that striking distance of the playoffs. And you knew that they wanted to have a good effort in tonight's
and that's what they had. They had they had the right start to the game. There's always going to be a sag. 60 minutes are never going to be dominant for an entire 60 minutes. It's just not the way the game works. So that second period, you did see that sag, and then that's why that third period to me was so important, because you sort of seen those second period sags carry over and be maybe more of the more of the 60 minutes than less of the 60 minutes of the game. Here's Jets head coach Rick Bowness.
Just your take on the options you have in net when you're able to put your backup in against a team like that, hungry team like that, and get the results that you get.
Yeah, he was great again tonight. He's been very consistent with those level of play. After the first couple of games early in the season, he's been wonderful. So we have no hesitation at all to put him in the net against anybody. So tonight's a divisional game. It's a big game. But as we said earlier, like when we signed him, we wanted to reduce Bucky's workload. We're doing that, and we're getting great goaltending from LB. So we have no hesitancy at all to put him in the net.
2 games ago, it looked like we were seeing the beginnings of some chemistry from that second line. Did you see them take a massive step in that tonight?
They were good the first night they played together. They were very good again tonight. So you got 2 very reliable players in Sean and Alex, and it gives Nick a little more freedom out there, and he's better on that left side than he was on the right. And right now, the line looks really good. We wanted, from day one, since we got Sean, we're trying to get that chemistry on that second line. That's very, very important as we move forward. And so that line's look very good.
And I know the third line got caught a little bit when Adam was out and that goal against them, but that, Thomas and Kyrou line is...
Wow, they're very good.
Yeah.
They're exciting. They play the game very fast. They're very, very dangerous on the rush, and especially when they got Torrey Krug coming up with them all the time. It's a 4-man rush every time, and they all hang on the puck. They use the width of the ice on their entries, and they use each other, and they're able to make those cute little passes between the defender stick and skates, and they just read off each other very well. But they're fast, they're highly skilled, and they're very, very poised and confident with the puck.
Your thoughts, though, on Adams' ability to suppress that line tonight?
Pardon me?
Your thoughts, though, on Adams' line's ability to suppress
it? They did a very good job. Listen, they're going to get their chances, that line. You saw Kyrou late in the game. He's just leaving the zone. He's out by the blue line. That's hard to defend. So I thought Adams' line did the job they needed to do. They shut them down as best they could.
They pulled their goalie early, and there's a lot of those D-zone draws. And now you have Monahan, so you're running him and Lowry together, Lowry and Scheifele together. This is kind of a dry run for the stretch run or playoffs. Like, do you imagine that in your mind?
Yeah, that's what we need going forward. It's not just it's Thursday night, too, the next game. It's nice. You want to try to have 2 centermen out there at the end like that. And it's nice to have on that left side to have Sean and Adam out there for sure.
And it looked like you gave quite a lot of time for Dylan and Pionk for that. What did you see from them battling?
Yeah, well, they're very reliable. They were having an outstanding game tonight, so they should be on the ice.
Is that the defenseman equivalent of rewarding guys that were scoring or something like that?
Yep. Having a good game, you got to be on the ice.
I just want to ask about Josh Morrissey. He's got 11 assists in his last 5 games. Is there something different you're seeing recently, or is that just a matter
No,
of
he was creating a lot of offense earlier. We just weren't scoring any goals for him. We monitor the chances for and against very closely, and he's always been up there in terms of creating chances for us. So, yeah, it wasn't going our way offensively for a while, but now the puck's going in, and he's making great plays.
And on creating chances, the fourth line, Nemestikov had a great chance late in the game there. What did you see from Perfetti, Nemestikov?
Yeah, I like that line. Again, we're trying to give them some quality minutes because of the schedule that's coming up, trying to reduce the schedule, the workload of the top 2 lines. Adams' line's going to get their customary 15 to 17 minutes, and we're trying to reduce the workload of those top 2 lines, and we need that fourth line to give us that 10, 12 minutes.
Just one more about the Blues players you mentioned. You've faced off against Robert Thomas a lot in your career with Dallas and here. What about him makes him such a fascinating player and one of the most skilled passers in the league?
Great skater. I mean, he is. He's fast and he's powerful. There's a lot of fast guys. I think he is powerful as well. He's very strong on his feet, and he's another guy that can make plays at high speed. Doesn't have to slow down to make a play. Some guys are fast, but they got to slow down and make that next play. He doesn't. He's got great vision, and he's a very talented player. Thanks.
Short but sweet. Jets head coach Rick Bowness. Not a lot to address besides the game and the performance of some of those key members of the Winnipeg Jets team. That happened. It sort of abruptly came to an end a little bit before I was expecting it today, Dave. But he did speak eloquently and he spoke passionately about that Winnipeg Jets second line, and you can see they are developing chemistry. Ehlers, Iafallo, and Monahan. And the truth is, I think it's most important that Ehlers and Monahan have that chemistry, because who knows how long Iafallo is going to be up there for. Right now, that line's going well. I don't necessarily expect him to be a permanent fixture there for the remainder of the season. But if Monahan and Ehlers can be a yin and a yang, similar to how Stasny fit in so well with those guys back in 17-18, boy, does that sort of generate some good tidings for the Winnipeg Jets. Worth noting that the top line, again, didn't have a great game 5-on-5. They were hemmed in a number of times, but, maybe it still seems like the Jets are going to ride with that trio together. But if Monahan and Ehlers can find some beautiful magic together as well, then really that's a Bob's your uncle sort of thing for the Winnipeg Jets.
Well, I don't have an uncle named Bob, Drew, but I can tell you, after mentioning the 17-18 season, that this was the 37th win in game 57 for the Jets. And people talk about that 17-18 season. Well, that 37th win came in game 62. And last year, the season where things were great and then they slid, the 37th win didn't come until game 66. So this team is far ahead of some of the best Jets teams we've seen in this city since the return of the team in 2011. So the folks, remember, folks, everybody was concerned about a drop off, and the 5-on-5 play has definitely dropped off. The team is not as tight. Rick Bowness talked about that in the morning media availability. The 5-on-5 play has not been as good from the whole group, not just one line, but the whole group has been seen a drop. Obviously, the special teams is offsetting that. The goaltending, again, also offsetting that. But this team isn't seeing that fall off. As Drew said, 7 games of their last 8, they've won. So the standings bank continues to look like the Jets are, a threat. I mean, like I said, you're going to have to see some improvements, and that top line remains kind of questionable in terms of what they're doing defensively. But, like I said, the coaching staff is trying. I mean, the big focus right now, and Rick Bowness has talked about that, is finding that chemistry, Drew. And you're right. Nikolai Ehlers, you needed to find someone to play with Nikolai Ehlers. Sean Monahan was asked about that. He was asked, learning how to play with Nikolai Ehlers, because we always hear, Ehlers is difficult to play with because he's not traditional. He doesn't go in those straight lines like most folks and most players, I should say. And so Monahan was asked about that, and he just said, he goes, I like playing with him. Like I'm figuring him out. It's taking a bit of time, of course, because it's all new, but he actually said he reminds him of Johnny Gaudreau, who of course he played with in Calgary.
Sure.
And so, shifty, small, fast. And he basically paralleled playing with Gaudreau in Calgary to playing with Nikolai Ehlers. So if Jets fans were concerned about that, in terms of finding that chemistry, well, if we can see a recreation of Monahan and Gaudreau with the Ehlers and Monahan, well, it'll serve the Jets in very good stead.
Yes, it certainly will put the Jets in a very good position moving forward. Speaking of moving forward, let's get into the nitty-gritty of tonight's game. It's called the Betway Game Recap.
The Betway Game Recap.
Big thanks to our friends at Betway for their continued support of the Illegal Curve post-game show. As you well know, Betway is one of the most trusted voices in sports betting, both in Canada and all around the world. With a large selection of betting options in sports, as well as strong promotions and fair odds, what are you waiting for? Head on over to Betway and bet your way. Must be 19 years or older to play. Please play responsibly. Another good start. Jets get on the board, 8:53 into this game. Worth noting, all the Jets goals tonight at 5-on-5. All the goals in the game tonight at 5-on-5. So a Jets team that has really been reliant on the power play as of the last handful of games. Tonight, the power play didn't click, but the team did produce at 5-on-5. Sean Monahan, his 19th of the season. Nikolai Ehlers getting the assist. Josh Morrissey getting the secondary assist. It's at the 8:53 mark of the first period. The Jets have an early 1-0 lead, and you got to see in this goal, Dave, that chemistry that is beginning to develop between Ehlers and Monahan. Ehlers is able to do what Ehlers does so well, get that time, get that space, and Monahan goes to where he is so dangerous, the bumper position. It's traditionally called the bumper position on the power play, but it's the similar spot here for this goal. And Ehlers tees him up, and Monahan wires it past Joel Hofer, and it's 1-0 Jets, not quite at the halfway mark of the first period.
Well, Drew, it goes to that idea of craftiness and finding, time and space. And Nikolai Ehlers is, really good at that. I mean, first of all, it has a nice cycle. You've got a lot of pressure.
Yes.
And then Josh Morrissey, of course, finds Ehlers, and it's quick. There's not a lot to do, but that's the thing with Nikolai Ehlers. If you're a goaltender, if you're Hofer, you've got to be aware of his shot. And so he's got a little time and space. It's not really a great angle for him to score at, but again, you have to respect that he's got a lethal shot. And so he backs everybody up, which creates, and one thing we're seeing, we don't know Sean Monahan. Obviously, we haven't watched a ton of the Montreal Canadiens games, similar to Sean Monahan being asked about the Jets. And he said, well, to be honest with you, I didn't really watch a lot of Winnipeg games, so I can really tell you too much about what was there before, he arrived. But one thing we're learning, I think, is how good he is at creating time and space, similar to Gabriel Velarde, I think, around the net, and giving himself that, soft ice that we talk about. And he finds that space, and it's most importantly, it's on and off his stick in a second.
Yeah.
And so you've got a Jets team that is getting that chemistry between two players that is critical. And you're right, Alex Iafallo could be, because he's kind of a digger, so he could be that sort of a little bit of a force on the line, and a guy who creates turnovers.
He can do the dirty work. He can go get and Monahan can do some of the dirty work too.
Which is what Iafallo did, right? And he also, again, it's funny, you don't get an assist, but he's creating chaos in front of the net, right? He's creating another option for, if there's a rebound on the Monahan shot, to put that into the back of the net. So you like what Iafallo.
If on that line, Ehlers is the fancy boy with the fancy play and the fancy footwork and the fancy stick work and the fancy skating and everything else, and Monahan is the trigger man, or Monahan is the sniper. Iafallo is just your hardworking guy who's going to go and do the dirty work on the line, the quote unquote unsung hero, the offensive lineman that never gets any credit. But if it wasn't for his key block, the quarterback doesn't have time to hit the wide receiver for the long touchdown.
Drew, save your football analogies for the illegal procedure football show. This is the illegal curve hockey show. But yeah, I mean, you're right. That is what you want to see from this duo right now, and like we talked about, Iafallo, whether it's Iafallo or someone else, I suspect because of Rick Bowness seeing some chemistry develop, he'll keep this line going. Again, like I said, there's some uncertainty with that first line and whether you're going to keep those three together.
Right.
But most importantly is that you have someone in Monahan who seems comfortable playing with Nikolai Ehlers. And so that's the key, whether it's Perfetti or Iafallo or anyone else as that third man on that unit, it really doesn't seem to matter as much because, again, like I said, those two developing that chemistry is what this team needed. And what Rick Bowness has been talking about for weeks now was getting something out of that second line. So he's getting it. He's getting goal scoring, and that's critical, and that's how they open the game.
Yeah, exactly right. The Jets get that opening goal, and they get that 1-0 lead, and that's what you want to do against the St. Louis Blues team that is, as we talked about, scratching, clawing, trying to sort of climb the ladder and, rung by rung back into a playoff spot or back into the heart of the playoff race. But an early goal against really has a demoralizing effect against the team like St. Louis.
And that was his sixth goal. Sorry, just quickly, Drew. That was what Iafallo's sixth goal now. And he was looking like he still is looking like a Cy Young Award winner at 6 goals, 0 assists at this point now.
At this point, wait till later on in the Betway game recap, and it's no longer 0 assists at that point.
But again, I just wanted to just make this quick point. Is just again, this is why twofold. Number one, the Jets made a trade for him early because they wanted to be able to get him acclimatized, knowing going into March there will not be any practice time. So he's acclimatized, and I'm just saying this is the reason why whenever I see things with winners and losers, I can't ever read them. You can't even read them like a year later, 2 years later, let alone like within a minute. But winners and losers, or this trade's a bomb. Again, he has 6 goals in his last 4 games. So he's looking like a pretty good addition to this Jets club.
I would say he certainly is right now. And the only thing better than a 1-0 lead against a sort of weakened opponent is a 2-0 lead. And it comes a minute and 27 seconds later. Brendan Dillon, it's his 7th of the year. And you know what this is. Anytime a player sets a new career high in goals, they get the honor of all honor, the Seagram shot of the game.
The Seagram shot of the game.
It's a clean face-off win. It's right back to Brendan Dillon, and it's a shot that I think I heard them say 88 miles per hour, as opposed, as if that's got a meaning, as opposed to if the shot was only 84 miles an hour, it would have been an easy save. Whatever it was Brendan Dillon's 7th of the year. Lots of traffic in front of Joel Hofer, but a really nice shot. We know Brendan Dillon can fire it. He's not known as being a sniper, but this year, 7 goals, new career high. This one gives the Jets a 2-0 lead. And it's one of those instances where faceoffs were important. And on this goal, it was, as it led to the Jets getting that 2-0 lead, Dave.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and we talk about, or some folks talk about how faceoffs don't matter, but this was clearly an indication that a faceoff did matter, because a clean faceoff win by Mark Scheifele gives Brendan Dillon that opportunity to take that blast. And it's important, right? You've got 7 goals for him. He's got a new career high, which it's amazing to think that he set that 10 years ago with the Dallas Stars in the 2013-14 season. But, well, I should say he set the previous record, which was 6, and now he's got 7. So, it's good for him. UFA at the end of this year, a guy who's expressed interest in staying here in Winnipeg. We'll see if that ends up happening. But for right now, Brendan Dillon, another good addition to this Jets team since he came over. And one of the things that Rick Bowness has talked about, Drew, is the need for the defense to step up and produce. And, you're getting, obviously Josh Morrissey's become an assist machine. He already was last year. I mean, he's not going to hit his number of over 60. I think he had 60 assists last year. He won't quite get there this year. But
on the heater that he's on, he might. Don't count him out. He might have it by next week. You never know.
I was going to say, I don't want to go against Josh Morrissey, so I won't. But, I mean, again, it is interesting to see, like I said, guys like Brendan Dillon contributing, and that's what this Jets club needs, and that's what they get with his blast to give them a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, exactly right. 2-0 for the Jets. It doesn't last that long. It lasts 30 seconds. St. Louis battles back. Pavel Buchnevich, a guy that is certainly the apple of a lot of people's eyes if the Jets make another acquisition ahead of the trade deadline. His name is rolling off of people's tongues. Assist to Marco Scandella, Robert Thomas as well. Jets sort of get caught running around in their own zone on this one. It's a bit of a mishmash it's not a full line change. Lowry's not out there, but it's Nemesnikov, Appleton, and Niederreiter, and the Blues do a good job of sort of cycling the Jets to death. And it's probably one I would say that Laurent Brossoit doesn't want to give up this rebound. It's it's a glove save, but it pops out of his glove, and sure, the Jets have been on their heels on this shift. But if it's a clean save, which it probably should be a clean save, then Buchnevich doesn't get the opportunity to deposit the rebound. Nonetheless, it's not a clean save. It's sitting there, and he's got some goal-scoring talent as he's got his 23rd of the year here, and he tucks that in to cut the Jets' lead from 2-0 to 2-1, and it's been a lot of goals through the first 10 minutes and 50 seconds of tonight's contest.
Yeah, and look, like that goes to the idea of St. Louis being a hungry team and not wanting to again rest on their laurels and say, okay, well, we lost this game. The Jets are feeling good, the crowd is feeling good, but despite there was some heat in the building, even though it was ice cold outside, and like I said, Brendan Dillon was pumped up. You could see the excitement from the Jets, knowing that obviously that's a significant goal for him. and for their team. And yeah, you don't like that the Jets kind of sat back a little bit, and St. Louis takes it to them. And ultimately, you've got a goal in the back of the net, and Drew, you broke it down, so I don't really need to break that one down any further because you've just done a good job on it. But like I said, Busnevich I think I pronounced it right. Who knows?
Yeah, you're close enough.
I was gonna say it's close enough, but like it's funny. He's the kind of player that everybody talks about. I mean, what was that? Was that his 19th goal? I think
23rd of the year. I mean, look, he's a guy who's he's a top 6 player. He's probably a top 3 player, on a lot of teams. He's a really talented player. He's under contract for another year. If he gets traded, and that's a big if, he's going to cost a lot. He's not going to be an inexpensive acquisition for any team, because you're talking about a guy who would certainly, he turns any team's top 6 that much better. Again, unless you're coming to blow away the Blues with an offer, I don't know how trading him necessarily improves their team, but they're right in that awkward, mushy middle where they're not yet bad enough that they need to sort of not retool, but retool on the fly, and they're not good enough that they can be a contending force. So that's where the Blues are sort of stuck there. That's why when you're stuck there, you wonder if you can maybe go pick the bones of your opposition a little bit. But he's a nice hockey player who would look great on any team, and certainly would turn the Winnipeg Jets, top 6 into just a force of nature if you add him with Ehlers and Monahan, or however you slot him in there. That Jets top 6 into a really, really impressive force. He gets the goal here, makes it 2-1 at that point, just a bit over the halfway mark of the first period. But the Jets respond, and they respond 4 minutes and 43 seconds later. It's Kyle Connor, his 24th assist to Josh Morrissey. That's Morrissey's 2nd assist of the game. So let me do 3 plus 3 plus 2.
11.
Well, 3 plus 3 plus 2. I was going to say 8 assists in the last 3 games. That's where I was going with that.
I think there were 2 more. Weren't there 2 more in this game prior, though?
Yeah, there very well might have been. It's hard to keep track.
I'm pretty sure it was either 2 in the game prior, or 1 and then 2 in the game before that.
It's been a lot of assists and not that many games for Josh Morrissey is the bottom line of that. And he catches the Blues in a not great line change. And this is, again, it's a nice shot by Kyle Connor, but Joel Hofer has to make this save, from my estimation. It didn't appear to be an overwhelmingly threatening. It's Connor's coming in, but the angle is cut off, so it's not a breakaway. Hofer is out to challenge, and Connor picks a corner, but it's not like he puts he picks it so supremely that all a goalie can do is sort of shrug his shoulders and laugh, sort of like Ehlers did against what team was that? Was that Minnesota or Chicago? Chicago, I think, on Friday night, right?
It was Chicago.
Yeah, when he went roof daddy. So Connor gets the goal. Nice shot, not the best shot, probably should have been saved, but nonetheless, the Jets, you have to like the transition from, it was a 1 pass up, scoring threat, scoring opportunity, and the Jets do score to make it 3-1, and that's where the first period ended. Another very solid first period for the Winnipeg Jets, getting the 3 goals, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they had 3 goals as well in that first period on Sunday against the Coyotes. Of course, these ones were 5-on-5, and those ones were heavily influenced by the power play.
Yeah, I just want to say, though, it's ironic that we're talking about a Kyle Connor goal that was essentially set up because he made a poor play defensively in the offensive zone. That's where his pass gets intercepted. They turn it away. He wasn't exactly burning the midnight oil to get back, or turning on the afterburners, I guess would be more appropriate, in order to get back defensively. And then he's able to take advantage of it as he's doing a little bit of a shallow dive on the center ice. And he, of course, again, you're right, credit Josh Morrissey for recognizing that and getting it up to him. And look, Kyle Connor is a phenomenal player. He's got 24 goals this season. It was a hell of a good shot. I mean, you could say that maybe Hofer lost his far post, but Kyle Connor's got an elite shot. He's an elite player when it comes offensively, and that's a 3-1 goal. And Drew, before we go into the second period, maybe they discussed it on the broadcast. I didn't. We in the press box had no idea what had happened. Was there any explanation as to the Adam Lowry, Braden Shen fight? Because from my viewing, and I saw the replay, but I'm just curious as to what the assessment was, first of all, of yours, but like I said, I saw it. And when I watched it live, I thought Shen had given him a couple of shots to the back. And I thought that wasn't enough. And maybe it was Shen's trying to get his team going a little bit.
That's largely the explanation. I mean, I was I was watching and listening to the broadcast, at this point in time, and they were equally confused. Kevin and Dan didn't really see anything that happened on the ice that led to it. I think the Jets really were sort of in control of the game early. They had the better of the flow of the game, through the first 5-6 minutes. And I think Braden Shen approached Adam Lowry and basically said, I need to drag my team. I need to wake my team up, give them a little bit of the smelling salts without the actual smelling salts. And I think that's what that's what resulted in the fight. And,
so you think Adam Lowry's like, well, sure, if you want to bring your team in, and I'll oblige.
The code is probably why Adam Lowry dropped the gloves in this instance. Because you're right, Adam Lowry, the way the Jets were playing, and Adam Lowry getting off the ice for 5 minutes is a bigger detriment to the Winnipeg Jets than Braden Shen being off the ice for 5 minutes. I like Braden Shen as a hockey player, so I'm not saying that, but he's not the same player he once was. But he's, it's just, I think that he was looking to try and spark his team, and Lowry reciprocated when, the request was made, but there wasn't a on ice catalyst for the fight, if that's what you're asking.
Okay. No, I mean, that was my assumption. I just was curious if Kevin or Dan had seen anything or heard anything, or if there was anything on the broadcast that was said otherwise. So that turns out to be the game-winning goal, which again is actually crazy to think. That's 3 straight games now for Kyle Connor with a game-winning goal, is it not?
It would be, yes, if you go back to the 2 OT winners, and certainly it would be the case.
And that is his 50th career game-winning goal, which is well above anyone else. He was tied with Mark Scheifele. He's now ahead of Mark Scheifele, and OT Konopoli liked that fight. Lowry and Shen fought.
I see rules say if you give us money, we highlight your comment.
Okay, Lowry and Shen fought. This is T Konopoli's, because T Konopoli's up on this. He said Lowry and Shen fought because of the Shen hit and fight on 55 last year or earlier this year. Okay, well, there you go. There's T Konopoli's thought process on that one. Thank you, T Konopoli. But getting back to Kyle Connor, 50th game-winning goal. And Drew, who had the most game-winning goals for the Jets 1.0? And if you saw my tweet from last game, don't answer. Okay, well,
I didn't see your tweet. I think I muted you a long time ago, but
fair enough.
Who had the most game-winning goals from the Jets 1.0?
Yeah, and for the record, Kyle Connor smokes his game-winning goal tally, but
I mean,
and I want the chat to participate as well.
I mean, I'm gonna say, is it not? It wouldn't be. I mean, it's Howardchuk seems like the obvious answer, but I'm assuming that it wasn't Howardchuk.
Nope.
Timu wouldn't have played for the Winnipeg long enough.
Nope.
Got to give me a hint. Throw me a bone.
He actually kind of looks like Kyle Connor. It wasn't Paul McLean, for the record. I'm seeing that people are saying that.
Laurie Boschman?
Nope. Phyllis is asking what the question was. The question was, who had the most game-winning goals for the Jets 1.0?
I give up. What's the answer?
Similar body style to Kyle Connor. Small, fast.
Right.
Small, fast. Winger. Big mustache.
But it wasn't Paul McLean?
Nope.
Oh,
Bruce got it.
Bruce got it.
AKA BD Longshot.
Oh, Doug Smale.
Dougie Smale.
Really?
Yeah.
Dougie Smale had the most
31
game-winning goals?
31 game-winning goals for the Jets 1.0.
Okay. So, I would not have clearly did not guess that.
A little Jets knowledge, a little Jets 1.0.
This is why Dave goes on vacation, so he can come back with these stupid esoteric facts and stump me on the post-game show.
I did not need to be on vacation to come up with these facts. I just have these facts.
Okay.
They're locked in there.
Okay, so congratulations to both Kyle Connor and Doug Smale, I suppose. Yes. Connor makes it 3-1 for the Jets after 20 minutes. Then the second period begins, And I thought St. Louis was the better, as I said in the preamble. I
Yeah.
thought St. Louis was the better of the two teams in that second period. And Brandon Saad gets the Blues to within one. It's at the 9:03 mark. Hang on, got to highlight Spency's comment. He gave us money. We are pretty transparent here, folks. You know, you can pay to play is what you can here.
Well,
On the illegal
within
curve.
reason, Drew. Within reason.
Well, yeah. Well, you got to keep the comments so it's still a family-friendly team, a family-friendly stream rather. But there you go, Spency. Thanks for the shout out and thanks for the money, buddy. Brandon Saad, his 17th of the year at the 9:03 mark, unassisted so far because Nate Schmidt is the one who really put it on his stick. Not a great sequence for Nate Schmidt. In this one,
No.
he's sort of fighting the puck. As it's a bit of a flip and a bouncing puck, and then he loses a board battle, and then the scramble drill is on, and then he gets the puck on his stick, and he's sort of in a panicky effort to remove the puck from the danger area, puts it right back into a more dangerous area, like the stick of Brandon Saad, who is able to flip it up and over Laurent Brossoit as the scramble drill was in full effect. And that cuts the lead from 3-1 to 3-2. It's a good forecheck by the Blues. Braden Shen, who we mentioned, is involved there. He's in on the play. The Blues are digging and they're winning that puck battle, and that's sort of where the catalyst for all the trouble starts with the bouncing puck and Nate Schmidt just sort of losing a puck battle on this one, I would say.
Well, and the thing I would say, Drew, also is that you could feel this building for, as you mentioned, St. Louis. They were the better team in that second period, and they were building their momentum. And even again on this play, you talk about it. This is a complete aside, but I always would have loved to hear like the in-game announcer, who obviously Jay Richardson, say something to the effect of, well, it's supposed to be unassisted, but clearly there was an assist on it. Nate Schmidt gets an assist on this one. And look, Laurent Brossoit gets credit because he makes a fantastic save.
Yes.
But, unfortunately, the Jets are caught looking, and they're caught watching, and they're standing around. And it just ends up being an unfortunate result because, like I said, Schmidt has control of the puck, loses it. Brossoit,
thank you, Edwin.
What's that?
Thank you to Edwin.
Oh, I didn't see that. I was looking at something. Oh, well,
there you go.
Super,
Edwin throwing us some cash. Appreciate it. Unnecessary, but appreciate it. Just want to say that.
Thank you, folks. But anyways, look, it's just a case of the Jets kind of a little bit of a malaise impacting their game in that second period.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an unfortunate play for, on and off the stick of Nate Schmidt, where he puts it right to Saad and he puts it into the back of the net. And like I said, it unfortunate for Laurent Brossoit, who makes a great save.
Yeah.
But you just see Sandberg's turned around trying to make the stop. Schmidt passes it right onto his stick. I mean, it's almost inadvertent. He just kind of turns and the puck goes in off of him. But ultimately, these guys are just standing, and it ruins a perfectly good save by Brossoit, and it ends up being a 3-2 game. And it's now there's a little bit of nervousness, right? Because the Jets haven't been playing particularly well. And I believe, actually, if I recall correctly, the shots going into the after 20 were 13-12.
They were.
And then I think the Jets had like a 4 or 5-1 to start the second. But then the next 12 or 13 shots were taken by St. Louis.
I think at a time in the second period. So the second period, the Blues outshot the Jets 15-12. But I believe at a point in time, the shots were 13-4, 13-6 in that second period. The Jets were definitely on their heels for a lot of that second period. And they maybe found their game in the last few minutes of that second. But, the Jets were, St. Louis was desperate. The desperate team is going to push back. And the question is, does that desperate team push all the way back? Or do they get just close enough that they, unfortunately for them, fall a little bit short? Thank you, In Bones We Trust. Again, folks, we appreciate it. Don't feel as though you need to give us money unless you want to give us money. We'll still highlight your comments even if you don't pay us money for it.
I was going to say, we highlight the comments regardless. So, I mean, you don't need
exactly.
to do that.
We appreciate it. It's very nice of all of you, but it's definitely not, it's not necessary, but we do appreciate it.
I was like I said, I was going to say the unfortunate part for the Jets is they did have chances. Nino now someone QMJ is saying don't want to be left out. Yeah, this is this is mine and Drew's secret plan and not secret plan to be like, don't do this.
Yeah. By the way, folks, don't tell Ginsburg that this happened because we're just going to keep all this money. This is just going to the Dave and Drew slush fund.
Yeah, this is a complete aside. As he wasn't on the show, he doesn't get to be a part of it.
Doesn't know.
So this is our manna from heaven. We appreciate it. But look, it's like I said, it's a there were chances. And Nito Niederreiter, I think, was a little frustrated because he was set up with, I would say, at least two or three chances in this game to score. Couldn't get it done, but there were chances. I mean, they did create, and you're right. Towards the end of the second period, I'm thinking about Drew, where I think it was that play. Mason Appleton fed it over to Niederreiter, and Hofer made like I said, he made a number of really good saves to keep his team in this game.
Well, and there was also that great save that Hofer made. I can't remember if that was at the end of the second or early in the third off Alex Iafallo, easy for me to say, that great glove save after that terrible giveaway. It was sort of a weird game. I can't remember if that giveaway was from if that was off the stick of Colton Parayko, where he just sort of fed.
It was like a birthday gift. I jokingly said it was Alex Iafallo's birthday today because it was. Whoa, this is now become a complete monstrosity, Drew. But we're appreciating everybody for doing this.
Yes, thank you, Kenny's water bottle, giving us some money. This again.
But read the comment, Drew. No, people.
No, please, people. No need to give us the money, and then just keep. And he says the reverse psychology is working.
We appreciate this. Anyways, this is even making the show even more fun. Thanks, by the way, for everybody who's joining us. Want to make sure you smash that like button and ensure you're subscribed, because Gary Bettman's media availability, the coach's media availability, you know how you get all that stuff? And there's really pretty much us and the Jets are the only two media entities in this city who are doing this. TSN does it, but they clip it. So you only get clips.
You get the raw audio from us.
Raw video too, Drew. And so you get the TSN Sportsnet. They clip. They never provide. To be honest with you, they really don't even post anything unless it's notable. And we link to that as well. But like I said, if you want full length video, come to Illegal Curve, but make sure you're subscribing.
Yeah, there you go. Good comment there from Dave M, reminding everyone why it's important to smash the like button and why it's important to subscribe to the YouTube channel all the time. 3-2 after 40 minutes. The Jets need to have a good third period after they have the last couple games. How's that third going to unfold? Well, there was some power play opportunities for the Winnipeg Jets. Braden Shen into the box early for tripping. No dice on the power play there. Wasn't really a very nice power play. Appleton, he takes a roughing penalty. Bit of a questionable call, but I guess the Shen call was also maybe a little bit on the soft side. So no dice for the Blues on that one. And then both Sundqvist and Scheifele take offsetting penalties, interference to Sundqvist, and sportsmanlike conduct to Scheifele. 4-on-4 hockey is high event. There was some good opportunities for both teams. Neither team scored. It took until the 10:13 mark of the third period. Alex Iafallo, his 8th of the year. Finally, he gets off the schneid. First goal in 20 games, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Minuk.
21.
It's his 8th of the season. Assist to Ehlers and Monahan. You could see how big of a goal this was for Iafallo personally, and how much it mattered for the Winnipeg Jets themselves. That is the all-important insurance marker. It starts with Monahan winning a puck retrieval, winning a puck battle. He gets it to Ehlers, who is able to find some soft ice, and he unleashes a shot that misses, but it comes off of the end boards, and Iafallo is exactly where you expect him to be, in the dirty area, and he sort of bangs it and crashes it through Joel Hofer and into the back of the net. Oh, so pretty for Alex Iafallo and the Jets. It's a 4-2 lead for the Jets in the back half of the third period. And what I thought was, as important as this goal was for the Jets, I thought their play in response to it was equally important. They didn't rest on their laurels.
Yeah.
Pardon me. They had some additional shifts where they controlled the flow of play in the blue zone. The fourth line, I remember, of Perfetti, Nemesnikov, and Barron had a couple of good shifts where they almost had an opportunity. Perfetti came close to getting off of his schneid as well. But the Jets, I thought, were the better of the two teams in the third period, and that's what I was looking for when the period began, and the Jets responded in kind, and as a result, a well-earned, well-deserved 4-2 victory for the Jets tonight. Thank you to Brendan. His comment up on the screen: where would this team be without Laurent Brossoit this year? We saw what happened last year with Dave Riddick. He has instilled so much confidence when he is in net, and amen to that, Brendan Matheson. Laurent Brossoit has been, I said it. We asked Marty Biron about it on Saturday, Dave. About sort of when a goalie is comfortable as the backup and finds a good situation. And Marty spoke about that, him finding that situation in New York and being comfortable as the backup, not always chasing the golden ring of a starter's position. If you're the Winnipeg Jets, again, I would be looking to try and sign Laurent Brossoit to a contract extension. You don't have that next goalie banging through to be a backup just yet. So if you can get the Laurent Brossoit under contract for a couple of years at a decent cap hit, I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, no, Laurent Brossoit was a big part of this hockey game, as his first star would suggest. Cough, cough. But I think it was clear. No, he is, and he's been a big part of this team. And Rick Bowness, again, going back to what was spoken about this morning, there wasn't certainty, right? Because the Jets don't play again now till Thursday in Dallas.
We'll be live on location, Boston Pizza.
I was going to say, I knew you weren't going to miss that opportunity to mention the fact that we'll be live on location. So hopefully 400 of you in the chat right now, everyone will join us. Not everyone. Well, I don't know if they could have the capacity for everyone, but hopefully most of you will join us at Boston Pizza on Thursday. Boston Pizza Taylor. Drew takes every opportunity he can. There you go. That's the leap. What are we calling it, Drew?
A leap day party so big it only happens every 4 years.
There you go. A leap day party with a legal curve. That'll be fun. But the point is that you knew that they were going to probably want to start Connor Hellebuck against the Dallas Stars. The Jets have, of course, the back-to-back coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
With Carolina. And then who do they play on Sunday?
Buffalo.
Buffalo? Yeah, Buffalo. So you know that they're going to get Laurent Brossoit into one of those two games. So this is the idea, that he's going to be playing more. We talked about it. 16 games. We're not in March yet, but 16 games in March, which means you need a backup. This guy he's a 1A. Connor Hellebuck is like a one phenomenal, whatever that is.
A one star or a one double star. And Brossoit right now is a 1A.
Yeah, no, and it's true. And so you're right, Drew. And look, like Thomas Milic, good young goalie prospect, but these guys take some time. Mm-hmm. So I would think that, and remember, he was with the ECHL until he got the call, and he's joined Colin Delia up with the Moose. But ultimately, it's a few years away now. Look, if I'm Laurent Brossoit, he set himself up to be given an opportunity for next year, but that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about this year. But you just like what he gives the Jets. You have the confidence. If you have Hellebuck in the net, or if you have Laurent Brossoit in the net, obviously Hellebuck is one of the best goaltenders in the league, but Laurent Brossoit has been, you look at his numbers, they've been pretty damn good and pretty consistent, like Connor Hellebuck, for the majority of this year. So, it's a great option to have, and they're going to need him down the stretch, because part of what we've talked about, the Jets have built themselves. We talk about the standings bank all the time and how they've banked these points, which is significant. But that, I think, is going to give them the opportunity for them to give Laurent Brossoit a lot of these starts and keep Connor Hellebuck fresh. And that's going to be the key when they enter the playoffs.
Absolutely right. And the Jets are going to enter the playoffs in a position of strength, barring something unforeseen occurring. They win tonight 4-2 over the St. Louis Blues. The Dallas Stars, well, they are getting handled by the Avalanche, so the Jets will be atop the Central Division at night's end. Certainly they're going to be there in points percentage regardless, but they will be tied with Dallas in points, but the Jets have the 3 games in hand, which means that Thursday night's game in Lone Star State, in Dallas. It's going to be a big one. We're at Boston Pizza on Taylor Avenue for it. Join Dave and yours truly. We're going to watch the game. Then we're going to have a live broadcast of the Illegal Curve post-game show. So wherever you're planning on watching Thursday's game, be sure to change those plans to join us at Boston Pizza, Taylor Avenue, 1160 Taylor, Thursday night, 7 p.m. We'll be there. A Leap Day party so big, it only happens every 4 years. This has been the Betway game recap here on the Illegal Curve post-game show. Don't go anywhere. We have so much more still to cover about the Jets and the Blues, and of course, about the fireside roundtable meeting of Commissioner Bettman and the media and everything else to do with the Winnipeg Jets off the ice. On ice, they got to win. Off ice, we'll talk about that next. Don't go anywhere. It's the Illegal Curve postgame show. Drew Mandel, Dave Manouk, 400 of our closest friends and family.
Ooh,
live,
Mindy.
as my voice goes on this Tuesday night.
Don't go anywhere.
BP's new New York Sicilian square footers. With a thicker crust than ever before, they're light and airy on the inside and oh so crispy on the outside. You're gonna have your work cut out for you.
Okay, fine.
Try the New York Sicilian square footers, only at Boston Pizza.
You guys ever wish for a game changer in life?
Like finding out your favorite snack has 0 calories?
Or discovering the mute button on Ezzy?
Picture this, a secret weapon for parking, where you can book a spot a whole month in advance.
Tell me more, Drew.
Pre-book your parking at really low rates, or maybe even for free if you use the code Illegal Curve.
Free? What is this, sorcery?
The Grid Park app. It's a real secret weapon that has affordable game day parking, and to sweeten the deal even more,
I love sweets.
our listeners can use the code Illegal Curve to park for free.
Holy Zamboni!
Tell me about it. Just download Grid Park, GRYD Park, and use the code Illegal Curve, all one word, to park for free.
The game can change just like that. Accidents happen when you aren't protected. So now what? Getting to your injury quickly can make all the difference. Help prevent them from being game changers with Linden Market Dental Center. Bonding, crowns, bridges, and dental implants. State-of-the-art treatments are available to help you get back in the game. To learn more, visit lindenmarketdentalcenter.com. Creating smiles for life.
Your coworkers love you because you always make them laugh. You're the life of the party with stories that have them rolling on the floor. Or maybe you're just the quiet one in the corner with the one-liners that just slay. Do you have what it takes to become Winnipeg's funniest person with a day job? Try your luck. Hit the stage at Rumors Comedy Club, and you could be walking away with $1,000 cash. Winnipeg's funniest person with a day job. Presented by Rumors. For all the details, head to rumorscomedyclub.com.
Whoa, Ezzy, everything okay? You look stressed.
Of course I'm stressed. We're moving, the house is upside down, the kids failed miserably at packing the fine china, and my life is in chaos. Chaos!
Yes, that does sound like a problem.
What am I going to do?
Ezzy, relax. Rolly's Transfer Moving and Storage is the answer. With 60 years of experience in moving Manitobans and a track record of exemplary customer service, one call to Rolly's and your stress is gone. No job is too big or too small. Just visit Rollies.com and they will take it from there.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you, Rollies Transfer Moving and Storage, online at Rollies.com.
For 3 generations and over 80 years, Tough Duck has been making apparel that works and plays as hard as the people who wear it. From jackets to work boots and everything in between, Tough Duck's clothing can handle the harshest environments, even the Illegal Curve hockey show. Work to live, live to play. Visit toughduck.com. Tuesday evening, we're back. The Illegal Curve post-game show. Drew Mandel, Dave Manouk. Jets win 4-2 over the St. Louis Blues. They improved to 16-3-1 against their division rivals. They've won 7 of their last 8 games, the only blemish being that loss to the Calgary Flames. They've won 4 in a row, and they head into a 3-game road trip starting Thursday night in Dallas. Another key Central Division matchup against the only team in the Central that they have yet to garner a victory over. I don't know if that's factually true or not, but
No, you're right.
Sounds good.
No, they lost.
They beat Colorado already this year?
No, they beat Colorado. Yeah, they went into Colorado. Don't you remember on that road trip that they started it off with that big win in Colorado?
Right. It's been a long time since they played the Avs, though, right? It's been like months
November?
since they played.
November,
it
I
feels
think
like
November or early
like
December. But it was a while ago.
Yeah. Oh, did we do was one of the Boston Pizza games a win again? Yes, the Boston Pizza win was against Colorado. That is right. Thank you. You refreshed my memory.
Okay. I don't know what I did, but sure.
Yeah, there you go. You jogged my memory. So good job on your job by jogging my memory. Dave, obviously today the big hullabaloo was about Gary Bettman coming to town and what his message was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And his message was much more of a Hakuna Matata, that it is much more of a don't worry, there's not a crisis going on here in Winnipeg. You know, yes, they want more season ticket holders. Yes, they need more season ticket holders, but no, there is no peril attached to the Winnipeg Jets name through the perspective of the NHL head office, that things are fine, that this is not a market that they are actively paying any more attention to attendance-wise than they are any of the other 31 markets. To me, well, that is a good messaging, and I think that'll go a long way in calming some of the noise.
Yeah.
To me, it seems like Chipman was playing the bad guy and Bettman was playing the good guy, and it seems like it should have been role reversal a little bit, which to me is odd. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter. It's, the commissioner came and said, nothing particular to worry about. Just get out and support the team as best you can. But the whole sort of, I don't know, the whole vibe and the whole approach, a little odd to me would be the word that I would use.
Well, I mean, first of all, I don't know that people are saying the local media. I don't think that it was a local media that started this as some sort of buzz. I mean,
People.
It wasn't even
nothing to do with the media.
Mark
Chipman gives an interview to The Athletic.
Yeah, a Toronto-based media, for the record.
Regardless, I don't care who.
But what I'm saying is, you can't. But you have to differentiate. The generalizations is what pissed me off. The idea that somehow you make a sweeping generalization and everyone has to accept it is just unfair. I don't think it's an apt characterization. So, I mean, if you're going to make a comment, then that's fine. First of all, you can have a difference of opinion. We don't have to agree that your comment is right or wrong. It can be whatever your opinion is. But the fact of the matter is, just be specific. Don't just use a label, the media, and say, well, then that covers everybody, because it doesn't. It's just, again, let's just try and have an honest dialogue about this. Now, speaking to that idea, I wanted to talk about a few things. Number one, the fact is that this was part of a planned attendance, nothing to do with Bettman, as he reminded us in his availability in the Matt Frost Media Center. It wasn't as if he's never been in Winnipeg. He comes almost every year. He came last year. It was earlier last year. He was in here in November. Like I jokingly said, I don't know why he picked a Tuesday in February. That is a curious decision, but let's be realistic. He flies in, he flies out. So it's not he's not planning. He doesn't spend a lot of time, but he comes to all the rinks. So that's nothing that's untoward. I just think that's it's happenstance that it was around now, right after the media availability, the article story with Mark Chipman in The Athletic, which of course got tongues wagging. But again, like I said, the ones that were really focused on this becoming a significant issue, if you read what people locally wrote, this is what I want to say, is the key point. Most of us recognized that the Jets probably aren't going anywhere based on, a number of circumstances. And, the qualifier that Mark Chipman and company made, because again, Mark Chipman is aware he was part of the 1.0 trying to save those Jets. He didn't bring this team back to make, $500 million and then become a pariah in this city. He's built essentially an empire. And Gary Bettman talked about this. Sure, they've made a huge investment, but they've also, this investment goes nowhere without that anchor tenant. If you don't have a Jets organization downtown, the downtown, with all due respect to the Manitoba Moose, the team I cover more than anybody else, is not significant enough to keep. So the investment, the 5-star hotel that's going up next door to Canada Life, again, which is beginning, obviously during the pandemic, things slowed down, but they're starting construction again on that in the spring. So I just think I don't think any of us who follow this team, and I think most people here follow this team, but I just think you got to be aware. And that's why, if you notice, the things that I posted on illegalcurve.com were local. I didn't post the stuff that was national because those people really aren't dialed in to this. So again, I agree that some of the media coverage of this situation in Winnipeg has been lazy, for sure. I absolutely think that there's been some lazy narratives created, and people who, again, I'm seeing people talk about Winnipeg who have never stepped foot in Winnipeg.
Great.
And it is irritating. I can understand
and fancy and then portray themselves as experts on the market.
For sure. So it's one of those situations where I understand where folks get upset. I just think that you just need to be aware. This is not a local media situation. I think this is a lot of folks from the outside of, if you have a Manitoba address, we're chatting and look, Winnipeg is easy. I mean, we're Winnipeggers, right? We're tough. We have to be to live in this environment. And I think that we're used to taking the slings and arrows, but you have a bit of a chip on your shoulder, whether you're, a media member or whether you're a fan or whether you're the owner of the team who clearly, has a significant desire for this to get resolved in a positive. But again, the overarching message from Bettman, from Bill Daly, from Mark Chipman was that they made mistakes. Mistakes were made, whether it was, in 2011 when they sold. And this is the point I think that, again, I don't think people outside this market, I think in this market, are unaware of, but just to reiterate it, 15% of the tickets are sold corporately. That means 85% of the tickets, if my math is right, maritime math, shout out to Rick Ralph, 85% of the ticket responsibilities fall on fans in the smallest market in the NHL. The next closest market in Canada is 45% corporate sponsorship. So that is a huge disparity, which is why Mark Chipman, Gary Bettman, we're today talking to. Gary Bettman made it sound like it was not like a lecture series. It was more of a, having panels, having conversations with corporate leaders,
right? Big
companies downtown. But that's what they're going to need to see. And again, like I said, True North has a big role to play because they've made mistakes, whether it's customer service. And that was the most interesting thing I thought that came out of that article out of The Athletic, Drew, was Mark Chipman's comments saying that essentially that, we didn't really see ourselves as I don't remember
they punted on providing customer service for a decade.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to paraphrase it, that's not a direct quote, of course, but if you want to paraphrase it and sum it up, is that they didn't really think that customer service wasn't a priority of theirs. So now they're trying to reestablish that and build that from scratch. Now, that was obviously a misjudgment by them in that, that should have been more of a priority from day one, but what's done is done, obviously. And now you have to find a way to rectify that and improve upon that and clean up the mistakes that were made by not providing that customer service. And to your point, and I don't want to interrupt you, Dave, you're on a roll there, but the little things like, the fact that Morrissey and Scheifele went to those three, the Harvard Gardens is what they call it, where the three houses have the rinks, over their 3 yards.
I'm assuming that's just in Crescentwood.
Yeah, it's just around the corner from where I am. It's not far from my place. I've driven past it. It's a great little thing. It looks like a ton of fun. It's very Canadiana, which is what Josh was saying, and everything else along those lines. But that's how you start to build this back up. it starts with one grassroots conversation at a time.
I was going to further to the point you're making. Why don't you play the Morrissey that's on my Twitter, about a minute 10, if you can find it? And you have the second screen for a reason. So bring up that media from Josh Morrissey this morning, because I think it's worth playing. I was going to mention, I'm glad you did, because I think it really was I think it's something that the Jets, and this goes back to the pandemic. I saw it kind of start to get rebuilt. And there's a lot of factors. Like, this is not just some simplistic, oh, you just need to change this and everything is going to get fixed. This is multifaceted. And so one of those areas was a disconnect between the Jets team and the fans. And I started to see that get a little bit closer together with this summer, because of development camp and fans and the team were interacting, which you didn't see for a number of years. So I don't know if you've got that queued up, but there we go.
Let's see if this assumes I know how to make the audio work.
Chipper asked if we'd come and visit a pretty cool outdoor rink setup that they've got in the city here, and that I guess former season ticket holder had. And obviously our job is to worry about wins and losses on the ice, and that's where our focus is. But at the same time, it was just an opportunity to interact with some kids and families that love the Jets, and it kind of couldn't be any more, in my view, Canadian than that. Outdoor rink across 3 front yards, and with trees in the middle of the ice and stuff. It's pretty awesome. So it was just fun to go interact with some great people, and I think that's something that I've always valued about the Jets organization and Mr. Chipman, is their commitment to the city of Winnipeg, their love for the city of Winnipeg. And I think that's just another example of him trying to get players in a situation, interact with some of the great fans, and be a part of this community. So it was a lot of fun.
There's Josh Morrissey from earlier today. That, of course, available in its entirety on illegalcurve.com and on our YouTube channel. Look, it's little things. It's not going to be, there's no magic bullet. Mm-hmm. There's no, look, winning goes a long way. Remember last year, they sold out the playoff game. So, if you're talking about not selling out playoff games, it's a different situation entirely. They sold out the playoff games. The attendance numbers have been growing, especially in the second half of the year. These are all good signs. These are all things that tell me that this isn't dire straits or anything. Yep. But in terms of winning back disaffected customers, and not that I know the financial situation of the people who have Harvard Gardens, but I know the neighborhood. And if these people were once your season ticket holders, you need to find out why they're not your season ticket holders anymore, because it's not it's generally a relatively affluent neighborhood that they have these 3 rinks in. So you got to find out why they're not your season ticket holders anymore. And you do it by communicating and talking to the grassroots. You call up the local business that used to have season tickets and had tickets that they spent a lot of money on, good seats or seats in the 300 level, whatever it might be, and you call them up and you hear from them. And it's going to take a time, and it's going to take a lot of shoe leather. And I used this analogy on my Twitter feed earlier, and this is not an invitation to talk politics. So if you're going to start talking politics as a result of my comment, just do not. But the best political campaigns, where you garner the most support, start by being on the ground, talking to people, one door at a time, one conversation at a time, and you win them one vote at a time. And you win season ticket holders back one conversation at a time and one mini package at a time. That's how you do it. There is no magic solution. You can't snap your fingers and all of a sudden get 65% success rate from the corporate community. But you can start by having those conversations, and that the realization of that is about a decade too late for True North, but it's not a decade. It's not so far gone that it can't be repaired ever. It's just not going to be overnight. And as long as they know it's not going to be overnight, they will be fine. And as long as they're committed to putting in the effort to do so, ultimately the community and the people of Winnipeg and the business community and Joe Blow, who can afford whatever Joe Blow can afford to go to, will be there, because it is, as long as they see the love being reciprocated from my perspective.
Yeah, and look, I'll end with my thoughts with Gary Bettman's. We're not here to preach doom and gloom, and he just said this is going to take a community effort alongside with the team. But he goes, I believe this place will do it. And then it was funny because then he got a big applause from the crowd, about 500 folks, and then he said, I'm not used to that, but it's not bad. So look, again, could they be blowing smoke? Could they be here to do that? Sure. Could they? Look, Mark Chipman is well regarded amongst the ownership and so I'm not, and the board of governors. So that it's a sensitive issue, but I mean, the league they're not unaware, right? If you heard one of the questions, and again, I don't know, we'll have, hopefully, if you didn't get a chance to watch the fireside chat, Colby, bless his heart, working his buns off trying to get everything done. But we got Gary Bettman's media availability. That's on our YouTube channel. We'll have the fireside chat, which I don't know that anybody's actually going to have. And I don't think it was live streamed. So we'll have that on our YouTube probably tomorrow, if we can get it later tonight. But if you didn't get a chance to, it's worth watching. I think there was some, obviously the questions are gone over, but ultimately
it's a sanitized,
yeah, but
forum,
but it is, but Drew, it is. But one of the first questions was about, I was just going to say, one of the first questions was about Arizona. Right?
I'm not criticizing it. I'm not criticizing. I wouldn't expect that it be a blanket open forum. So that's not a criticism. That's just a reality of that kind of situation.
Yeah, and like I again, what I was just gonna say is that the fact is he was asked about Arizona, he was asked about the Coyotes, because obviously Jets fans are like, well, what's going on here? You're right. Looking at Winnipeg, and then you've got situations like Arizona, San Jose's got terrible crowds. Now, the folks aren't used to seeing Winnipeg because of all those years of sellouts. And one of the things that Gary Bettman essentially said, and again, I'm trying to wrap this up, but there was a lot to talk about today, is that businesses go through evolution. As I think I just highlighted the comment from Al. And so you can focus on the past and where the mistakes you made. And it's important to, of course, be aware of those mistakes so you don't repeat them in the future. But ultimately, you have to figure out a way to move forward. That's what it sounds like the Jets' plan is. And like I said, it seems like the league is on board, and really, ultimately, no timeline. Basically said, look, this is just so the Jets can remain not viable, because there's not a question about their viability. It's about their competitiveness. Do you want to spend $80 million if you're only making 70, right? And you're losing that. I'm just saying, from that perspective.
For the record, and this is, I don't believe anytime a team, any professional sports team claims that they're losing money, I call BS on that, just for the record.
Of
course.
But
and it's interesting you say, that there's the comment up there that, businesses always go through an evolution, and that's true. And there's sometimes where, where certain businesses or certain forms of entertainment are hotter than other forms of entertainment. But one thing you can always control. So there's a lot of variables that are out of your control. So you want to focus on the ones that are in your control. And one that is in your control always is the degree of customer service that you provide. And now I certainly hope that True North has learned a lesson that cannot be something that you ever let slide away. Because as long as you always provide customer service and, as best customer service as you can, you always have that to fall back on. That can always be your backbone. Maybe your team isn't the best on the ice. There's going to be some times where the team struggles. Every team has it. But if you provide customer service at its absolute finest, which you can control, then you can leverage that during some of those darker days where your industry isn't as popular, or your team isn't as good, or the on-ice performance isn't what it once was. Will True North heed those lessons? Time will tell. I hope they do. But there you go. There's the off-ice analysis from tonight's very busy edition of the Illegal Curve post-game show.
Drew, apparently we have immaculate customer service, according to Scardy.
Well, we do have immaculate customer service. When the guy from BC sent me a very rude message telling me to go do something that's not anatomically possible. I didn't respond. I just deleted it because I thought it'd be better to not provide bad customer service. In this instance, I just said, okay, you got that off your chest. I don't need to escalate things any further. Let's wrap it up with the Tough Duck hardest hitting comment.
The Tough Duck hardest hitting comment.
Big thanks to all of you for some great comments and great conversation all throughout tonight's post-game show. Here is the winner. It's pretty straightforward. I thought it was a good analysis. The fourth line, Perfetti, Barron, Nemesnikov. The fourth line was fantastic tonight. They play like that, and we being the Winnipeg Jets in this instance, are golden. Stewie 9. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But Stewie 9, you are the winner of tonight's Tough Duck hardest hitting comment. Send me an email, drew@illegalcurve.com. Slide into my DMs @ICDrew. Hopefully don't tell me to do something that's anatomically impossible. Let me know your mailing address, and our friends at Tough Duck will be glad to ship you out a toque for that, your Tough Duck hardest hitting comment on tonight's Illegal Curve post-game show. Good night for the Jets on the ice, Dave. Good night for the Jets off the ice. It's always a good night when you head over to illegalcurve.com for all your post-game needs. And of course,
recap's already up, Drew.
I know it is. And of course, our YouTube channel is a great resource all day, every day for all your latest Winnipeg Jets, Manitoba Moose audio and video. Big thanks to everyone for joining us tonight. Big thanks to our sponsors, our friends at Rumors Restaurant and Comedy Club, Grid Park. I just actually booked my parking spot for tomorrow's Ice Cube concert using Grid Park. So I'm already ahead of the game. Use Grid Park. Use code Illegal Curve to park for free. So check them out if you're going downtown for tomorrow night's concert. Come say hi to me if you run into me. I'll be the person awkwardly there, but I'm usually the person awkward in all situations. But nonetheless, Grid Park, a great resource when you're looking for parking and you can book months in advance. Linden Market Dental Center, Betway, Zappia Group Realty, Tough Duck, Seagram's, Rolly's Transfer, Farmery Beer, and of course, Boston Pizza, where we will be on Thursday night for the live on location edition of the Illegal Curve post-game show and the Leap Day watch party, a party so big it happens only every 4 years. That is going to be Thursday night, 7 p.m., Boston Pizza on Taylor Avenue. I saw that comment from Spency, and I'm doing my best to get through the rest of the post-game show without laughing at that point in time. So we look forward to welcoming everybody on Thursday night if you're able to join us in person. If you're not, we'll see you.
Who's asking, Drew, what time does everyone show up? Come on.
Show up as early as you want. Show up whenever you can, Stu. So we'll be there at 7. Hopefully you'll be there at that time. If you're a couple minutes late, well, we still welcome you with open arms, of course. And if you can't make it down there for the post-game show or for the live on location broadcast, we'll be there. The post-game show will be on our YouTube channel as per always. Big thanks to all of you. Big thanks to all these fine businesses. Big thanks to everyone for their continued support of Illegal Curve Hockey. If you haven't already done so, smash the like button.
Happy belated birthday to my sister, by the way.
Happy belated birthday to Rach. Rach's birthday. Can't miss that one. If you haven't already done so, smash the like button. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast, leave us feedback here, there, and everywhere, and tell your friends and family the best place to be after each and every Winnipeg Jets game. And again, on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. is the Illegal Curve YouTube channel. Jets win 4-2 for DM Dave Manouk. I'm D. What?
Sorry, Drew. Hate to do this to you. And I should have done this hours ago. But just quickly, we do have IC merch available. I'm just gonna do a quick plug here, Drew, and then we'll end the show.
Okay.
IC merch is coming back. I'm gonna have a link on the website illegalcurve.com under the merch tab. You're gonna have a short window, not a short window, but a month to order the gear, and then you can see the gear. I'm wearing it right now.
Yeah,
hat,
I'm actually
that sort of
wearing it
thing.
I'm wearing it underneath my Kentucky sweatshirt.
There you
Big
go.
Win,
So
big win for my Wildcats. Buzzer
there you
beater
go.
tonight in
There
Mississippi
you go.
State.
So folks are asking about merch. I've had a lot of people asking questions. You can buy the hoodies. You can buy our zip ups now. You can look like IC if you want.
Yeah.
But we appreciate the support. So we're going to have the merch button. It's going to be on the website. I'll make it active either tonight or tomorrow. And then, like I said, you'll have about a month. And then once the orders are in, there's going to be a 1 month window. And then we're going to try and get to everything. And if we can get it to you early, great. And if not, well, it'll take at least about a month. But just so you know, we'll have a 1 month window to order. And then it'll take probably 3-4 weeks after that. But that's kind of their new plan. Just so everyone, if you want to order merch, you'll be able to.
Unfortunately, the Canadian Food Inspection Agency said we cannot offer replica Ezzy beards. They said that is outlawed and banned. We are not able to offer that as part of our merchandise offering, but everything else under the sun will be available on the website, illegalcurve.com. Stay tuned for all that news. And of course, our social media platforms will have all the latest as well. Thanks to everyone for joining us. For DM Dave Minuk, I'm DM Drew Mindell. We'll see you Thursday night. Until then, we wish you good night and good luck, and thanks for watching the Illegal Curve post-game show.
Thanks for listening to this broadcast from Illegal Curve Hockey. For more great Illegal Curve content, subscribe to the Illegal Curve YouTube channel, follow @Illegal Curve on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and visit your online home for hockey in Winnipeg, illegalcurve.com.